Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Latin Voice.
Latin voices.
So today we're gonna have a topic. So we're gonna be talking about overcoming fear and embracing change. But first, let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Sandy. For those who doesn't know me, I'm originally from Panama. I reside in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, and I work in the movie industry, and I'm a digital business owner.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isabel. I'm originally from Mexico. I live in North Carolina, USA. I'm married. I have 3 children. I work for the school system as a teacher assistant, and I also have my digital business.
Thank you, Sabel. Okay, so before we jump into the subject, we just want to remind you that today, Thursday, we have a live webinar at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. So our host for today is going to be, oh, sorry, just a sec. Our host for today will be Malu. She's a banker in risk and compliance. And then for the panelists, we have Jen, a former mortgage and specialist and realtor. We have Raleen, skills, education, and nurse management. And then we have Pinky, a registered nurse.
And we also have Lori. She's a digital business owner. Keith, oil and gas consultant. And Judy, she's a former dental nurse. So if you guys want to know more about our business, you can sign up on our website so you can see the live webinar today.
Thank you. Okay, so our topic for today is overcoming fear and embracing change. So we're going to start by sharing a little bit of our experience, overcoming fear and embracing change in this business. I think one of the fears that I have, well, I have like two stories for fear. The first one was when I started the online business and started receiving all those emails. For me, it was like, even though, like I'm used to, working the office and getting all emails, but I started to see so many emails and I was like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to do this? Because this is so much emails and I don't know how to do it. But once I, I come down and start doing one by one and doing all the steps that I need to do, then I was okay. So but yeah, I was afraid at first, but I overcome my fears by becoming calm, and then just do one at a time. So yeah. My other fear is, going live. Yeah, when I started, I started recording because I don't like to be like in front of the camera. I like to be like behind the camera, but like I had to do it for this business, right? So I started to recording myself, and at first, it was like, even though it was recording, I was still having that fear. But eventually, like I got used to seeing myself. It's kind of like a talking to myself. But then, like going live, that was the other one. It was like every time that I needed to press that live button, I was so scared. But then I pressed it and I went live. And then, I got used to because I was okay with not having anybody watching me. So it was fine. But then one night I got someone who started to watch my live, and that's when like I was like panicking, because I didn't know what to say, and whatever I had planned, it kind of like it got blocked. So yeah, so that was a scary moment for me.
Yeah, well, for me, it was a lot of things, because I wasn't really familiar with any of this. And I always knew I didn't want to be a business owner, like a traditional business owner, because I just knew that it was going to take a lot of time, or most of my time. But when I saw this opportunity about the digital business, I was like, well, I don't know anything about business, but let me check into it, and when I saw that I had to do videos, go live, and create content, I was like, I don't know if I can do that because I've never done that before. And I consider myself shy, I don't really talk to people. I'm not a social person at all. So I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that just because, knowing me, but I wanted a change in my life, and to be able to do that, I have to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. So I was like, I like everything about the business. This is the only part I don't really like, but I'm gonna try it. So I remember the first time I tried to do a live to go live. I pressed it like I hesitated so many times, to press that button. Yes, no, yes. And when I finally decided to do it, I just felt like everybody was watching me. Like I just felt like so many people just, you know, looking straight at me. And as soon as I pressed it, I think it was just a couple of seconds, I went live and I was like, no, 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 I'm not ready. So I turned it off because I didn't want to do it. Every now and then I still get that fear of going live, but I don't feel like I felt the first time. Like I felt like my heart was about to leave my body. I don't feel that anymore, but it's still a little bit challenging at sometimes, depending on what I have to talk about, especially. But if I'm out in public and then I have all these people just looking at me, it feels weird because I know that they know I'm doing something. But I try for that not to let it bother me anymore, and I just do my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel related to you too with the life because it me too. I was really afraid. Um,
Yes.
okay, so the first point is identifying your fear. So yeah, this one is very important when it comes to overcoming fear and embracing change. Um, because um, the first thing is you gotta sit down, and think about what are you afraid of. Okay, so when you start identifying what you're afraid of, then write it down. Okay, because that way you know what you're afraid of, and then you can start working on those things, either getting help with somebody else to help you on the things that you have fear, or doing research about it so you can overcome your fear. But it's important to identify your fears because that's the only way that you can overcome your fears.
Mhm.
um okay, you want to say something as well?
Well, it's hard, like I said, because you always, like, we have different fears. Like, people have people are afraid of many things, but one of the fears is always of the unknown. If you don't know something, you're always scared of what's going to happen if I try it. So just taking a step to something new in life, is a scary process at times. But then again, you have to think about the outcome that you want out of that. Is it worth it, going that extra step that you're afraid of? So just thinking about, like, what are you afraid of? What are your fears exactly? um like, I was afraid of doing this because I was afraid of what people had to say about me. Like, I always worry about what their opinion was going to be about what I was
Hmm.
doing. And now that I think about it, I'm like, why did I even care to begin with? I live at home with my family, with my husband, and these people are not really, they don't have a direct impact in my life, but yet I'm afraid of what they have to say. And it's kind of crazy. So you don't have to worry about that. Like, don't let other people control your life or control what you want to do in life, because if that's the case, you're never gonna move on. You're always gonna be waiting on approval from people that have nothing to do in your life, basically. So,
Yeah, and many times, like, well, sometimes, like, there will be people there that are gonna try to say no, I don't think you should do this, and that influence you, and that's why we need to be strong, to remember, why we're doing this, because when we take a decision to do something, there is a reason behind why. Okay. But at the same time, sometimes nobody's saying anything. It's just in our mind. We have those thoughts, like, oh, what somebody was gonna say something, or what somebody's gonna think about what I'm doing. But it's really in our
Yeah.
minds because nobody has really approached us to say anything. So you have both type of fears, that one is, like our imagination, and the other one is the actual people, trying to influence in us. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and then
important.
sorry, Sandy. The other thing that I think we're afraid of is failure. Like we
Yes.
always think like I'm afraid to try something new, but because what if I'm not good enough? What if I can't make it work, for me? And that's one of the things that I think stops us from growing in life so much because we're so afraid of failure. And really, failure is not that bad. I mean, if you try something and it didn't work for you, okay, well, leave it, try something new, or be consistent, stay on it. And nobody starts anything with experience. Everybody starts from scratch. So you just have to be consistent, keep working on it, and try and try. Um, if it didn't work for you at the beginning, or if it didn't work the way you thought it was going to work for you, then find the reasons why it's not working for you.
Yeah, and even, like, if it didn't work out for you, like, at least you learn something new. You learn something from it. So there's always something positive out of it. But sometimes, we don't see that, but yeah, there is always something positive out every failure because we always learn something new. We have a comment from Pat Keating. He sent us flower. Thank you, Pat Keating.
Aw, thank
He
you,
also
Pat.
he also mentioned, don't worry about other people. Live your life to the fullest. That's right, Pat Keating. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you so much. That's what we're trying. We're trying to, keep going with our business and don't worry about what people have to say. Only focus on the positive comments and not really worry about the negative.
Yeah. Okay, so the next point is the power of mindset. And yeah, this one really plays a big role when overcoming fears because, it like I said, it's all in our mindset. Like I was saying before, sometimes it's once, like, it could be people that are influencing us, but sometimes it's in our mind that we're creating those thoughts. Um, so that's why we really need to work on our mindset, like feeding, with reading books or listening podcasts or things that, like, it will make us stronger to overcome things and have an open mind, when it comes to the things that we have to face in front of us. um like we have, like, mentors or coaches, or we have the community that also help us when it comes to the mindset. um the other thing is, like, with having a mindset, you can overcome all those failures, right? Because you start seeing the failures as a tool to learn something new. Like, yes, it was it didn't work out, but it doesn't mean that you didn't learn anything from it. Like, you can um learn something from it. For example, if you were trying to do your life, and then let's see, your life were like a total chaos when you try it. It's okay. It was your first life. Like, you try again, and then that next time you're not supposed to press that button. Like, I had a friend of mine who she went live, and she didn't know and she started her life, and then she pressed the no, actually, she thought that she pressed the live button, and she did the entire live. And then afterwards she realized that she never pressed the live button, so it wasn't even live. So, and then, the guest, she had a guest at the time. So that was like a total recording, no recording. So, but she learned from it. So next time she knew that she needed to press the live button. So those are little failures that we have on our way, but, we learn from it, and that's how we become better. So
Yeah. Well, we have to work to have a strong mindset, and really focus and believe in ourselves, in our abilities to either do things or learn new things, because we don't know a lot, but we have the ability to learn if we really want to. If we put ourselves into it, we can learn anything. So like this lives that we're talking about, yeah, we were not experts, we were not good at doing lives at the beginning. And even now, that there's, I'm sure, people that do great doing lives, but we're learning, we're in the process, and we know that we know that every day we're pushing ourselves to do more and to do better. And it has everything to do with your mindset, because if it was if it was us with our mindset, if it was me from my mindset from the beginning, I would have given up on the first time when I couldn't do the life. I would have said, this is not for me, I give up. But I kept trying, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on improving. So, we have the power to either give up or keep trying, because we own our life, and we decide what we want to do with our life. We decide if we want to improve, get better, keep learning, become a better version of ourselves, or we decide if we just want to step back and keep being the person we have been till this moment, with no changes, no improvements, and just keep living the same cycle over and over. So it's all about the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, for us, like, there was one time, like, we needed to do some recordings because we were heading to Japan. So we were doing recordings ahead of time. And then, but it was the first time, like, I never done recordings because we were so used to do lives, right? So I saw the button record. So I pressed the record button, but for some reason it says press live again, the button. So I pressed the live and I thought that it was recording, but then we saw we had a viewer, and I said, okay, we are live. So no choice. But yeah, that was a learning curve for us, when it came to recording. So now we know. Um, so because, we set it up and everything, but we learned from that experience, how to do recordings now. But yeah, but like at that time, like we could have panicking and say, okay, what do we do? But we went just alone, with what happened. So that's the power of mindset. We planned something, it didn't work out the way that we wanted, but we went on with what happened. So yeah.
So it's about finding solutions too,
Yeah.
finding the solutions, and really trying to work with what we have. Like, the growth is not going to be over with the mistake that we made, or actually we didn't know that we were doing something like that, but we just kept going and did what we have to do, and didn't have to panic or go crazy about the situation. We just found the solution, and you know work with it the best with that we could.
Yeah. Okay, so the next step is taking small steps. And yes, this is one thing that sometimes by mistake, we're trying to in order to overcome our fear, we're trying to jump too far, take big steps. And that's a mistake that we make because, in order to overcome our fear, we have to do like little small steps. It's like, for example, like when you're learning to swim, you have to, like, for example, that I can tell you that from my experience, like I can swim, but I'm afraid to go to the deep water. So I think for me to overcome that fear, I will have to take small steps in order to overcome that. So the same thing, for anything that you take in life is the same thing, like if you have a fear for something, you gotta take small steps, because if you try to do it from big step, it's gonna be kind of hard to overcome that. But if you go little by little, you're celebrating the milestones along the way, and that really keeps you motivated to continue overcoming that fear until you eventually you overcome that fear, and then you'll be okay.
Yeah, and always think about the result that you want at the end, and break it down into small steps, instead of trying to do a lot at the time to achieve your goal. You have to break it down and work towards it, a little bit at a time. Because yes, we all want results, and we want them right away, and we want to get there as fast as we can. But if we're not really taking the time to learn and to take in everything, you know, in a small amounts, then we're really not gonna be able to achieve that big goal or that result at the end, because taking big steps doesn't really mean that you're gonna, be that you're gonna achieve what you want faster. Because
Mhm.
when you take big steps, you may be forgetting or leaving some things that are important to achieve that goal. So when you break it down into small steps and work on them a little bit at a time, I think it's better, because you're going to learn more on your way, and you're going to enjoy it more too, instead of trying to do a lot in a little bit of time just to get to your result.
Yeah, that's a good point that you mentioned there, because like you need to build that very good foundation on what you need
Mhm.
to overcome. Because if you don't build that foundation, then yes, you're gonna go like where you needed to go, but then you might become, in another situation, you might become, you might, that fear might come back, because you didn't really work the fear like you were supposed to work it. And that's the same thing, for me, when I was talking about the swimming. I think it's all on my mind, to tell you the truth, because like I can swim in the deep water when I use that mask that I can look underneath the water, because water really, I love water. I love the water relax me, and I can go to the deep water. But if I remove the mask and you tell me to go swim in the deep water, I won't go. So it's all on my mind, but I need to overcome that fear. And then it has to be like small steps at a time, so but in
Yeah.
order to have that base for me, to be able to overcome it completely, and that doesn't come back again.
Yeah, you have to work on small steps, and really practice, practice. That's what's going to make it better. And you're going to gain confidence in yourself every time you practice and do it over and over again, um, a little bit at a time. You don't want to stay a full day doing the same thing over and over. You try it, and you give your mind a break from that, and then try it again. Like I said, a little bit at a time will give you confidence at the end, because you're gonna feel more comfortable doing the things that you didn't think you could do, you know.
Yeah. We have another comment from Pat Keating. He say, really proud of both of you. Good luck with all your ventures. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you for your support, and always,
Yes.
being with us when we go live. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Okay. So the next point is learning and adapting. Yeah. Um, I think this one is like we mentioned before. It comes with all the mindset, right? So you want to start learning about to building more confidence. And if it is something that like for example, me, was it is swimming, right? So that means that I need to learn, have those swimming lessons to be able to overcome that fear. So when it comes to business, it could be different, like for example, our life here. The more we do it, the more we practice, the more we become better, and the more we overcome our fears. Like one of my fears, like I'm okay with this type of lives, but when it comes to go outside and trying to record myself, and have people around, I'm a little shy to do that. I'm not so confident. And I think that's something that I need to work on. But how do you do that? By doing it and practice it, so you get comfortable and used to doing it, and so that you block all the people that is around you, and then you just focus on your life. So learning and adapt to different changes, that's another key, because like we mentioned before, we were planning to do a recording live, and then we pressed the button, boom, we went live, and we just went with it, like we adapt to what it happened, like it was, we were not going to stop it, we already were live, so we continued to do what we were supposed to do, and we just went on. So sometimes you will encounter things like that where you need to adapt and improvise at the moment, and that's learning and adapting, when it comes to that.
Yeah, we do a lot of this, learning and adapting. And I know that you guys only see this part when we go live and we share with you, but we do a lot of work behind the scenes, and we're always trying to learn. And we have when we do our group meetings so that we can learn more and do better and actually have um, more useful and fun content for y'all. But we're always having to adapt. Adapting is part of the learning part. And when we have to be flexible, flexibility is the key too, because sometimes we plan things, but for some reason, plans don't always go well, especially when we're online and we depend on the internet, and we depend on other people that we invite to be with us. And so it's not always possible because, we're humans, we have lives, we have problems like everybody. So we just have to learn and adapt and keep going and be flexible, with everything that happens around life, because that's just how things are and we can't change that. But we are really working hard on improving and getting better with everything that we're doing.
Yeah, a good example of that is like many times, like I'm doing lives on other lives, not on this one, but on other lives. Um, I had get the guests dropping so many times, and we need to improvise at the moment because we cannot stay like in silence, So then, we start sometimes, answering the question like between us, while we wait for the guests to come back, or sometimes it's even ours. Like last one of the lives that we did, Isabel, there was like a
A
storm
store?
going on, yeah, and then
Yeah.
she went she went her internet, I think, went down. So then, like we
The
continue
power
talking.
went out.
Oh, the power, yes. So we continue,
Yeah.
talking in the meantime until, Isabel came back. But yeah, so yeah, you gotta learn to improvise and adapt, But those are good things that, when it happens, because then, like you become better. Like if this happen again, then you know what to do, and you don't stay like panicking. Oh my God, now what we do, So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and other things that have happened, while I go live, because I have my kids, and then I have my grandson. Sometimes they're around, and they'll come in from wherever they are if they're out, and they're slamming the door or coming in, talking to me loud, or my grandson just jumps and gets on top of me. It's just part of life, and I really enjoy it because this is what we're trying to really promote, is that we can do all these things and run our business at the same time. So, it works well. It may not feel good at the time, but then again, this is my everyday life.
Yeah. On my phone ringing so many times over. So now I unplug it. But yeah, before we were on the lives and I was supposed to take in my phone and start ringing. Especially, we had a live that was on Father's Day. So my
Yeah.
phone was ringing constantly because of that. Okay, so the next point is building a support system. Yeah, when we talk about overcoming fear, yeah, building a support system is important. Then what would be a support system? It will be, for example, your family. That will be the closest support system that you will have. um, so your family will be there to support you along the way. Not everybody get that support at the beginning, because they don't believe on the business that we are doing. Eventually, with time comes, then start seeing the results, and then they start believing, and then now they start supporting their family. But your first one normally, will be your family. So, and sometimes your friends, you will have friends that will support you also, with your business. But then, besides that, then you have the community. So we are lucky that in this business, online business that we do, we have an amazing community. And within the community, we have mentors, we have coach, and we have the global community that is always there, like supporting you supporting you along the way. Not only, like celebrating the milestones, but also, when you need help with the training, like you have a question, someone is always there, like to help you with that. Also, like doing online business is, we talk about mindset, right? So like all of us, we have different type of mindset. So sometimes, we can have a strong mindset, but then we have something that comes up, and if we don't feel the mindset, like we mentioned before, that's when we get, like that weak moment, and then we feel like down, right? But then your community, because we have like the same, like-minded, and we think, try to think positive and all that, your community comes in, and then and give you that support, emotional support that you need to keep going, and it motivates you to push you to keep going for that goal that you need. So that's one of the amazing things that we have in this online business is our community, the support that we get, like sometimes that you don't get at home, you will get it here, um, to
No,
support
not
you along
really.
the way.
Yes, and at the beginning, it's hard for us because, um, sorry, because we have family, and a lot of times our family don't really support us, and they don't really agree with the kind of business that we're doing because they don't see the results, and they think that we're not only wasting our time, we're wasting our money and all that. But then, we have the community, and out of the community, you make great friendships that you can surround yourself with, and you can find the people that are like-minded like you, and work together with them, and really get your support from there, from them, because we're working for the same goal, or towards the same goal. So it's easy to do that when you find the people. And a lot of times, you have to look for these people that they don't they're not going to be in your immediate group when you start. Maybe they're not even part of your group, but just finding the people that you work well with, that you get along with, that you can really rely on. And that's when you see the difference, in the business, because you have the people that you work well with, and you have fun working with, and you enjoy doing that. So that's the thing about our community, that there's so many people from so many different cultures and backgrounds, so you can find the people that you really want to work with.
Yes. Okay, so
You,
the next point is either I'm sorry, just give me a sec. This one is the next one. Visualizing success. So yeah, so this one really helps. So how do we visualize success? Well, there's different ways that you can do that. Um, you can, like, I think if we're looking for different methods, we talk about vision board, scripting, and also, closing your eyes and then start visualizing, seeing yourself, being success, or doing whatever you want to be able to accomplish, when it comes to your fears and all that. um because, like when we talk about visualizing success, sometimes we have that fear, like, am I gonna be able to do this? Am I gonna be able to have success? Am I gonna be able to have success in this online business? And that fear is because we tend to like see that far away, and this is where a lot of people, they they tend to stop what they're doing, because they see it far away. But you know what, the hardest part, you already did it, is taking that leap of faith decision, to change your life. The rest is just keep going, keep continuing. So by doing visualization, you help yourself, like be able to close your eyes, be able to see yourself. And the more you do it, the more you believe it, and because you believe it, the more it becomes true. So that's one of the ways to do it. The other one is like writing it. you know. um I heard the 369, that they say, which is the Tesla method. So you write like three times what you want to accomplish. I think 3 p.m., and then you write it again six times, I guess, around 6 p.m., and then again nine times around 9 p.m., something like that. But it's like 369. So that's another way if you guys want to practice that. Um, and then we also have the vision board. Yes. So vision board, some people like to do it digital. So they like to have it on their phone. Other people like to have it on the computer, like as a wallpaper. And other people like to have it on a piece of cardboard. So whatever you want to do for in terms of vision board, you can put out all the areas that you want to work on. And then, like every time you try to see it, like when you wake up, you see it. You take your moment and kind of you visualize with those pictures that you have there. And then, like at nighttime before going to bed again, you visualize those pictures on the vision board. And the more you see it, and the more you start, believe in it and making it true. So yeah, so visualizing is very important when overcoming fear and then making our dreams come true.
Um, I can't really talk much about this one because I have a hard time myself doing this, and it's a learning process. Like I said, everything is a learning process. But um, I'm working on my vision board. I haven't finished it yet, but it's a good thing to have because it will remind you of the things that you want every day. You look at it and you're like, you know what you're working towards, you know what you want in life. And I think that's one of the key things that you want. You want to know what you really want out of life. If you have that goal already set, then you know what you're working for, because a lot of times we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're working for. And I think that's the hard part, that we don't have something that we focus ourselves in every day. And it's easy to forget the reasons why we're doing the things that we're doing. But if we have that visual, that we can see what we want and why we're doing these things, then it's easier for us to keep going and to keep trying and to keep learning for the goal that we want, because we want to improve in life, we want to be better. So the only way to do that is to keep going and to keep learning, and to know what you're doing it is a great thing.
Yeah. Well, I did I'll tell you one story about me. Like when I used to live in Montreal, my sister-in-law, she went into one of these workshops of manifesting. At that time, it was very on trend, The Secret. So then she asked me, like, oh, do you want to do this with me? So it was supposed to be, like for 10 days we were supposed to write um three things that we were grateful during the day. And each day it didn't have to repeat what you wrote on the other day, so every day has to be something different. So I did it with her for 10 days, and then I don't really remember when I did it, to tell you the truth. But apparently when I was living in Montreal, I took a piece of paper. I cut a piece of paper of a car. It was a Mazda 3 hatchback blue, and I pasted on this piece of paper along with another car that apparently I liked it at the time. And then like we moved from Montreal to Vancouver, and then those papers, it was kind of like the movie of The Secret in a way, because the paper was in one of those boxes. So one day, you know i I was going through the papers, and then I found out the piece of paper. And when I saw the piece of paper, I was like, oh my god, it can be. And I'll tell you why. Because when I saw the piece of paper, that was the same car, the same color, the same brand, everything was the same that I had. And I was so surprised, when I saw that. It was just like the guy, in The Secret was telling about the house. It was the same thing. And and the thing, like going back now, when I bought the car, I when I moved to Vancouver, I used to have a van, but my dad gave it away, so I didn't have a van anymore. So I started to take the buses, because I transferred from the company that was in Montreal. I transferred here to Vancouver, so I didn't have a bus, and I had to take the city transportation. But um, I started to work at night, and the buses was like every hour. So if I missed the hour, I had to wait like another hour. So then I say, no, I need a car. So I started to search for cars, and looking out the reviews. And then I end up going to Mazda. And then at the beginning, I had another color that I wanted to pick for the car. But then the salesperson say, oh, I don't have that color, but I do have this one. And he showed me the color. And I said, okay, I like that color. And then, like I took it. And then, when I see the paper, I say, oh my God, that's the same color, same brand. Everything was the same. I was like, wow. But yeah, that happened to me. So yeah, it works. Don't ask me how it works, because it's different, because like for me, I did it, but I did never look it back to that picture until like I found it. But I have another vision board that I did, for example, like trying to join the unions where I belong in the film industry, and gone from one position to the other, and I put it on my vision board, and that has like I reached those. I completed those things that I put on my vision board, so that one works. But that one for me was like just watching, from time to time. I wouldn't say that I was watching every time, every day, but I was watching it sometimes, and then I think it works. It doesn't happen right away, but it works. But yeah, I really don't know how it works, but it works.
They always say you don't have to worry about the how, you only have to worry about just knowing what you want in life. So the how is always going to be a mystery, and you have to really know what you want, and focus on that and work on that every day.
Yeah. Okay, so the other point is embracing change. So yeah, so well, we talk about this a little bit later, before, when we say like like things that happens that is not planned, but then we need to adapt. So yeah, so embracing change, like it's adapting to the new things that comes our way. So for example, like like when Isabel dropped, then we need to improvise, like we were not planning for Isabel to drop, and then so we had to improvise and adapt at that moment. So that will be an example. Another example, if we talk about, like the technology, like how technology keeps evolving. So you need to adapt, to changes, because that's how we keep up to date, what's happening out there. Also, like the trends, embracing the trends that is happening over there, because like you don't want to keep doing something that like it was from the 90s, and applying to right now, because it might not work. That's not what is in fashion right now, so yeah, so embracing change is very important, to adapt to anything that comes your way. And then, like Isabel mentioned, finding solutions, to that, like don't get stuck in that, think out of the box. That's mindset again, and find another way, okay, what you're supposed to do, and adapt quickly to that. So embracing change is very important, because the more you embrace change, the easier it becomes for you to find solution for something that it came your way and you were not prepared for it. So yeah, embracing change is a very um, key point for this.
Yeah, and we have to be proactive, and adapt to things and change. Things may not always go as planned, but you have to be able to change your plan and not get stuck, because a lot of times we get frustrated when things don't work the way we want them to. But if we give it a chance and we really have an open mind about it, we may find better ways to do it, just because the way that we were used to didn't work. So don't always see that as a bad thing. Change is always good, depending on how you see it, because if you get frustrated about something, because we're so good about getting used to things, getting used to, okay, this is how I do this is what works for me. And then when it doesn't work, we almost go crazy, trying to get it to do the same thing that it was doing before. But especially if you work in online, digital, things are changing a lot now. Everything is improving, everything is updating. So you just have to be open to that and know that there's going to be changes. You have to know that you have to be able to adapt. Adapting to change is the best thing that you can do if you want to stay relevant, and if you want to improve and stay active in an online business, like a digital business. Okay, go.
Yeah.
What you have?
and and the other thing that I want to add to that is, like, part of the embracing change is also doing like research, because, like, and read, and view things, because that's how you can create like innovation, also on your things, like taking a little bit of what is trending and then adding your own, how do you say, adding your own spice, I guess, to it, and make it your own, so, um taking a little bit of here and there, and tweak it, to you, to your liking. That really helps also with the embracing the change, like be fun, doing things, and learning. But yeah, it's part of, like keeping update, looking what's going on out there, doing your research and all that, to be able to embrace that change.
Yes.
Okay, so we have arrived to the end of our live. So we're gonna do another reminder about our live webinar tonight. So oh, just give me a sec. Okay. So yeah, so again, our we have our live today. So we have actually a live every Tuesday and every Thursday from 5 p.m. PST to and 8 p.m. EST. So today is Thursday, so our live today is at 5 p.m. and PST, 8 p.m. EST, and our host is Malu, and she's a banker on risk and compliance. And then we have our first three panelists, Jen, which is a former mortgage specialist and realtor. Then we have Raleen. She's a skills and education nurse manager. And then we have Pinky, a registered nurse.
Yeah, and we have Lori. She's a digital business owner. Keith, he's an oil and gas consultant. And Judy is a former dental nurse. So if you guys want to know more about our business plan, just go on our website and register, and you will get an invitation to join the live webinar. And if you don't have time to do the live webinar, you can always register to see the replay.
Yes, thank you. You can also, like follow us on our Facebook business pages
Mhm.
that appear on the screen. So to get to know more about us and then about the business. And like Isabel mentioned, you can register in our website that is on the screen with your name and email address. We'll send you the invitation to the live webinar. And like she mentioned also, like if you cannot catch the live webinar, no problem. You can catch the replay. We can send you the replay, and the replay will have the subtitles for those who English is not that strong. You can speak you can pick your subtitles in any language that you speak. You also get an invitation to our Facebook private group, so where you can see more information about our business, and also you can see business owners in our community that are having success. So you can see their stories and their journey and all that. And you're free to browse around in our Facebook private group. Um, oh yeah, you wanted to mention something, Isabel?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you guys register on our website, that's free, and that's just to get our webinar where it explains our business plan. That is not joining the business. That is just to receive the free webinar. So don't worry. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing that you're agreeing to or anything. You're only receiving the webinar when you go in and register, nothing else.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good clarification, because a lot of people, I think many times they think that just because they register in our website, they're already like joining the business, and no, that's not the case. And this is just to give you free information before you take your decision to proceed and to learn more. That's when you, at that time, you will pay the $149, and you will be able to see our business plan, and our income streams and all that. So just doing the little recap of what we talked today. So the question and the topic was overcoming fear and embracing change. So we talk about, like identifying your fears. So that's very important, to be able to overcome your fears. Also, we talk about the power of mindset, why mindset is important when you're trying to overcome your fears. Also, like taking small steps instead of taking big steps, because by taking small steps you create that foundation to be able to overcome the fears, that instead of jumping ahead, and not having that foundation. Another point that we talked was learning and adapting. Yeah, so learning, keep learning, because that's the only way that you can overcome your fears and whatever your fear is about, and adapt to the changes, because that's part of the learning curve, like adapt to whatever it comes your way, and like modify and adjust accordingly. So um building a support system, yeah, that one is important, because you need support around you to be able to help you overcome those fears. Sometimes you cannot do it alone. You need that someone else to give you that help, like that support to overcome that fear and to make you more confident. Also, we talk about visualizing success. Like how you can make your dreams true come true, like by visualizing, either closing your eyes and then imagining, or using, like a vision board, or doing a scripting, because by writing it down you're kind of like acknowledging that this is what I want. And embracing change, yeah. Like we mentioned so many times, like in our lives we encounter things that were not planned, but like we needed to adapt at the moment and improvise. So that's part of the learning for, embracing change. It might not be the perfect the first time, because we don't know, like there might be like a, I remember like one time, like there was a little silence. Okay, what do we do? But then, like I improvised. But then, if when it happened again, yeah, we knew what to do. And then, like there wasn't that silence there. But yeah, that's part of the learning curves. And then, yeah, learning all the like we mentioned, like all the trends that are out there, to make sure that you are up to date to what's happening, and tweak it to your spice, what you're doing. So yeah,
Make
so
it personal.
yes. Yeah, so that's the last point. So we want to thank all the viewers that watched the live today with us. Thank you, Pat Keating, for all your comments and your support, for
Yes.
all our
For,
lives.
for always being there for us,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yes. And also thank you for those watching the replay. And until the next episode of the Laughing Voices. Bye,
Laughing
everyone.
voices.
Have a nice Thursday.
Bye.